Grand risings. I hope you guys are up and having the best of days. Able to get some of that sun today. It was a beautiful risings. It's been pretty nice here in Texas. We had a cold spell last week, but it is much better now. I am so excited about that. You just don't know. So what's going on with you guys this morning? What is going on? Let me play one song. I always get right to it and people miss a lot of the beginning. So I think they may get a little frustrated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play one song. That way, a minute or two to get in here. Any of my family, my people that's up early, that's feeling me this morning, and say the girl about to do something today. So what she into, y'all be looking for me. I know they block my notifications. They don't want you guys to really see what's going on a lot of times, especially when we're just like showing truth. Most of the stuff we know anyway. But hey, and of course, I'm already having an issue. How that happened? Why is my page taking forever to load? Like, it's like early morning. Like, come on. Grand day, brother. Sunset last night. Yes. You was like, you said I got some last night, sis. Yes, that's what's up, bro. Yes, that early morning and that evening, that's when we're gonna get that good energy. That's when we're gonna get the perfect golden sun energy. that gold. That's what we like, that gold. Golden sun. Yeah, it's moving a little slow, guys. Let's see. Let's go ahead and play you something real quick, bro. It's only me and you right now, so we'll get started. I'll play this. This is one of my favorites.
Tempo on the beat. I couldn't believe it, even when out of eye, and I still couldn't see it. This is much deeper than flesh and blood. Nigga, we fighting demons. The devil's there by the devil, and I'm still in the field. How you get to watch me get in the body of the mud? I couldn't believe, even when I was out of eye, and I still couldn't see it. This is much deeper than flesh and blood. Nigga, we fighting demons. I've been double there by the devil, and I'm still undefeated. How y'all get to watch me get in the body of the mud? Now y'all get to see me without a mud. Everything that I do gon' be out of love. And I'm tired of these trials and these tribulations. And I'm sick of my name while we getting drugged. But no, I ain't budge. All of this money and you not pursuing it. All of this time you don't know what to do with it. Counterproductive and counterintuitive. Why you be acting like you are brand new to it? Straight from the gutter, boy, we getting sewerage. So as we get it, you know we gon' move it. With all of this money I made from the block, get out the game and invest it and stop all the rest of the messes them up. When they'll be fine, will we stay on that ground? Hold on my knees, don't let it on my son is a scientist. He's at us, need us more geniuses. I know we got us. I know it's in us. I'm ain't perfect. I'm making them out of won't count on. And I still couldn't see it. It's just much deeper than flesh and blood. Nigga, we fighting demons.
We fighting demons.
I was there by the devil, and I'm still in the field.
Still undefeated.
Get to watch me get it up out of the mud. I couldn't believe. Even when I was out of eye, I still couldn't see it. This is much deeper than flesh and blood. Nigga, we fighting demons. I've been double there by the devil, and I'm still undefeated. How y'all get to watch me get it up out of the mud?
The hate be starting so damn early, don't it? That's all right, guys. Let's see. We're still about to get into it. Can't stop the flow. Not mine, anyway. Stagnation is an issue when it comes to a lot of things we deal with. If you can't deal with the stagnation, delays, interruptions, and things of that nature when it comes to, everyday things, it's going to be pretty hard for you to deal with the real stuff.
What is up? It is your girl Christina. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Dominican culture. But I'm not just going to tell you what the elements of Dominican culture are, but I decided it would be fun to take a closer look at the actual origins of all these things that make up Dominican culture. So many people that have come in and out of DR, all leaving behind culture come from. By looking at language. So obviously DR is a Spanish dialect of Lucy, as well as that of the Canary Islands. So in certain regions that were green, they neutralize the sound, which in Castilian Spanish is many times pronounced with a TH sound. So this is called ceseo. So in words such as corazón in Castilian Spanish, it would be pronounced corazón with the TH sound. However, in ceseo, Spanish, which could be in Spanish, the on many
Thing literally doing what it want to do. Hold on, guys. That is not the right video. That video is okay for explaining the language, but we're not too concerned about that. Hold on 1 second. We're going to get the right video up. It's taking forever. I couldn't pull it down. I couldn't change it. It just becomes hilarious to me at some point. But here we go, guys. Give me a minute. Get the right video up here. Yeah, we're going to be discussing some things when it comes to Jones, Jackson, Smith, a couple of these families that actually left America and went to the Dominican Republic. So, hold on 1 second here, guys. Let's get it going. Peace, bro. I see you, bro. Yeah, you already know they messing with me already, throwing up the wrong stuff. I'm looking like I ain't even looked at this video. Why is this even showing? But yeah, here it comes. Yeah, we're about to get it. Ridiculous. Don't kick me out, though. Let's see what it do. I don't know if y'all still there, but it does something. So let's see. StreamYard. Real crazy. All right, guys. This shit nuts. Y'all hear me? Put a one in there if y'all hear me. Y'all see what's going on. This thing acting real. Paying me off. All right, let me give it a second. I'm gonna reload this. I'm gonna see if it knocks me out. I'm gonna reload it before we. Just doing what it want to do. Doing what it wants to do. Early morning. Okay, let's see. Let's see what this shit do right now. Let me watch my words. Don't curse the computer. It's already acting retarded. All right, I think we got a better connection now, guys. Ooh, sometimes it's worth it to be.
Perfecto. ¿Cómo que no me quiere para que te muera? ¿Cómo que te pregunté para que te muera? Sí, yo voy a grabar la playa. Yo soy YouTube. No, este muchacho era él me dijo, yo le dije, él tiene que cambiar. ¿Allá? ¿Tú eres de aquí? ¿De este barrio? Sí, sí. Ah, okay. Y me gusta ese barrio. Muy calmo. No me siento.
Tell me we need one more try. Come on now.
Todo
Work with me.
Todos tienen problemas, pero no me siento mal.
All right, let's see.
Yo voy a acabar con eso. Y eso graba 4K. 4K. Mira, yo voy a grabar ahora. Puedes ver. ¿Cómo 4K la variedad de eso? Buena resolución de amarillo. Sí, muy bien. Tengo el canal de YouTube ya. Ok. No, como ponerlísimo por ahí. Sí, él me dio 30 minutos, como media hora. Mira, no sé qué
si yo quiero irme ahora. Ahí no hay otro, solo hay eso. La pequeña, pero y el isla, yo no quiero ir a la isla porque esa es una playa de turista. Yo quiero, me prefiero. Yeah. Okay, hermano. Hear it for yourself. Barrio. Let me go check this out.
I know y'all don't hear none because I don't either. I guess it's trying to catch up. I put the closed captioning on so you guys could at least read what they're saying when they're speaking in Spanish, and then getting the screen right for you. So give it a minute. Catch up. I'll take it back on.
Nosotros. Yo voy a grabar con eso y eso graba 4K. Mira, yo voy a grabar ahora. Puedes ver. ¿Cómo 4K la camarita de eso? Sí, muy grande eso puede ser. Yeah. Okay. Bueno, vamos a poner lejísimo por ahí. Sí, sí él me dijo 30 horas. Hay eso pequeña, playa eso, pero el isla, yo no quiero ir a la isla porque esa es una playa de turista. Yo quiero, me prefiero. Yeah. Okay, hermano. You hear it for yourself. Body a little bit deeper in the barrios. ¿Cómo está? Bien. The history of this area. It's, not this barrio, but this area, this city. So, you know. There's some serious history in this area right here. Papale mati. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo está?
Bien, bien. Es un GoPro.
Eso es una
GoPro. GoPro. Sí, una cámara. Cuando yo te quiero grabar, graba. Yo
¿De
grabo.
dónde tú eres?
No.
Pero ¿dónde uno consigue comprar eso?
Yo no sé si vende eso aquí.
Pero tú vives en United States. You
Yeah,
live in United
Miami.
States. Miami, all right.
Yeah.
I
You
live in
speak
Las
English.
Vegas.
I know you
Yes,
speak English,
I know
man.
very good English.
Oh, you know what? You know what I wanted to record? Over here, when I was in the Capperton,
Yeah.
I met a guy named Mr. Green. That's how I come here.
Okay.
It's Mr. Green, un moreno como yo.
Yeah.
And he was like, he told me about the church. They speak English.
Yeah.
And the church, and he told me a lot of people in Samaná speak English.
I know.
Years ago.
Excuse me. I know to speak English. That is the only problem what I got. Speak all. You know, you tell me in English. I know.
Right.
My family from Nevada.
Las
My
Vegas.
mother,
Las Vegas.
all the people from Samaná
Don't speak English.
Yeah, look Barry.
Yeah, that's not Dominican last
Yeah,
name.
there is.
That's what his last name is, Mr. Green.
Yeah, Barrett Jackson.
Oh man, you my peoples, man.
But look, I live in Nevada.
Oh.
Nevada, you know Nevada?
Yeah. Las
Nevada.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Reno, Tahoe, Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas. I live there. But I have a long time here. I got it there.
Yeah, it seems like the people here are friendly too, man.
I live there. All that is mine.
Oh,
You see the back one?
yeah, right
All
here.
that.
Oh, you own all this?
Yeah, all that is mine.
Oh, so you was in Vegas, save money. You working in come here
Yeah, that's true.
and open up and
Yeah.
make you make.
Yeah, make all this.
Oh, okay. Money, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people they don't do that, but that's smart.
Yeah.
That's very smart.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing you. I'm saying that man.
No. You see me with the GoPro, that give it away too.
Yeah,
You're not gonna see nobody with a GoPro walking around here.
Yeah.
That give it away. But yeah, because I'm going to the beach, I'm gonna record.
Look.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Yeah.
That operation, no, but there
Yeah,
is.
but it's still it shows.
And Puerto Rico, look, my lights are Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico too?
Yeah.
How did you like Puerto Rico?
Dime. ¿Cómo es?
Me regalas 5.
¿Cinco qué? Pero dime, ¿cinco qué?
5,000 pesos.
Ah, 5,000 pesos. Te voy a regalar 4 balas. Adiós.
Dice por favor.
Yeah.
5,000 pesos, por favor. Ese no 5, falta uno.
Ahí tiene 4.
Oh, I got 5. Yo. Igual. All right, man. Nice talking to you, Mr. Barrett Jackson.
Yeah. I live there.
Top, the left side or the middle? Oh, the whole top.
Yes.
Okay.
I
okay.
live there.
Oh, with the camera. Oh shit! You got the whole block. You run the whole block. Oh man, that's smart.
I
bro.
got it. All this I got.
Yeah. This neighborhood is safe.
Yeah.
This neighborhood is safe. Yeah. I don't feel fear here. I don't feel like I gotta worry. Trust me, I wouldn't be walking with this in my hand.
All right.
If I knew it was,
I'll stay here. Where you want something, you put me there.
All right, man.
You say Barrett of Jackson.
Barrett Jackson.
But the name everybody know me is Papi Lee.
Papi Lee.
Yeah.
Papi Lee. All right, Papi Ling.
All right.
All right.
You got your
Mira, ¿dónde está? All right. Buen día.
Hola.
Like I was saying, man, this city, so much history. Once these motors go by, I'm gonna tell you about the history, but it's so much history in this city. It's so much history, bro, in this city. It's crazy. So I'm posting, and I'm gonna tell you guys basically what happened, the story that I heard, and what I found out was true also. So let me post up right here. Actually, yeah, I'll post up right here. So anyway, okay. So anyway, so all right. So I'm in the Capperton, right? He told me about Samanan, and he told me, about a story. I researched it on YouTube and I seen it, but he told me about a story about a lot of African when the slaves were free in the United States, a lot of African Americans came to the Republic, right? A lot of the motos are super loud. A lot of African Americans came to the Dominican Republic as free slaves from. Most of them was from Philadelphia. So he told me this story, and he showed me people in this area that actually, some of them still speak the language, speak English. Some of them, not all of them, but so when he told me the story, I was like, you know, I'm skeptical because you can't believe everything someone says. And there was another guy that as soon as he stopped talking to me, the guy just left. When he left, this other guy was like, "Oh, you talking to that guy? That guy's a liar. He's full of shit." But I keep my mind open and I do my own research. I can't believe they're gonna put it on my channel because I don't know if it's true or not. So what I did my own research, and I went on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube also. Plus, I did research. Then I came here.
I'm sorry. I had to pause it, guys. I hope we don't have an interruption. Listen, did you hear him say that the older guy is the one that told him what happened? He said, listen, a bunch of freedmen came over with certain names. He gave them the names, a few of those names. When he told him this, he was having a whole conversation with the elderly guy, this, and that, right? There was another bystander. Sounds like an Asian to me. We won't get into that part. But there's another bystander there. They're having a whole conversation. They've discussed this, so on and so forth. He waits till the guy leaves, mind you. He waits till the guy leaves. He doesn't interrupt the guy and say, well, sir, that's not true, or, you shouldn't give him misinformation, or blah, 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 or I don't know much of this story, or could you tell me, he didn't do any of that. What he did was wait for the old guy to leave, and then he came to the guy and said, hey, he's a liar. He's lying. He's lying. Why would you stop this man to tell him that this man was lying about something that you have no proof of whether he's lying or telling the truth? So that right there lets you know that this is something that they don't want you to know about the Americans there in the Dominican Republic. That's just something I want to point out. Keep that in mind.
Now that it's true that there's a lot of African Americans slaves years ago that came to Samana. Now, most of them, they have what you just saw. They have Jacksons. They're Jacksons, Smith, Green, and Jones. And I got family that's named Smith. I got family that's named Jones also. One side of my family, on the side of my family, people here, when I told them the story, when I told the Dominicans the story and I showed them on YouTube, they was like, oh, those people they're Haitians. Because that's what some of them, not all of them, thought that they were Haitians. But I'm saying to myself, well, I got my side of the family that got that last name, and I know for sure that side of the family is not, Haitian. So now I came here for myself and did my research and found out it's true. There was a lot of African Americans that came here, and they stayed here within time. Some of them still know English, and some of them don't know English. So the story is true. Come to find out, I came here, did my research. The church is somewhere here. If I can find the church, I'm supposed to be going to the beach, but I'm gonna see. I'm supposed to be going to the beach, but I'm gonna see if I can find this church. It's so hard to talk with these motorists. I'm supposed to be going to the beach, but I'm gonna try to find this church. Obviously, I won't be able to attend the service so you guys can hear them speaking English, but the church is every Sunday, and they come out here and they speak English every Sunday. So, but you just heard it for yourself. That guy, a lot of them, they do speak English because of the culture runs deep. It runs very deep here in Samana. Now, today, what we're doing is we're going to the playa. And this playa is about 30 minutes away. I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to ride 30 minutes and back on a moto concho. That's kind of far. Um, so I'm debating whether I'm a. Whoa, ¿dónde yo voy? Nadie allá. Yo no estoy buscando a nadie. Solo mirando el lugar. Sí. No es peligroso, ¿no? No. Perfecto. So anyway, looks like that goes into the neighborhood. So I'm not. This beautiful senora helped me out and told me, "Who you looking for?" I said, "I'm not looking for anyone." So, but I'm gonna go out to the main road, even though neighborhood is not dangerous. Things still can happen if you're walking in dark alleys. So we're gonna walk towards we're gonna walk towards the main road. Let me ask. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Dónde la iglesia que habla en inglés? Una iglesia que ellos hablan inglés. ¿Pacho? ¿Cómo? ¿Yo puedo ir a pie? Allá. Es un poquito.
Ella está atrás de iglesia católica. Usted la va a ver. Ahí está más.
Ok,
Usted pregunta para el coco.
ok. Sí, yo voy a coger un motoconcho allá. Para allá. ¿Cómo se llama otra vez? San Pi de la Chod. Muchísimas gracias. Sí. All right, so I to the church, man. Why not? Like, that's history, man. Seeing a church that was from freed African American slaves. That's kind of history to see that. So I think I don't know. I should go check it out. What y'all think? Y'all think I should check it out or no? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Should I go see you guys interested in that? So we're gonna walk camera on me so they don't think I'm trying to spy. ¿Cómo es? Dang. You know. For the most part, man, I gotta admit. So I just asked this guy to take me to the church that they speak English, and he said he's not from here, so he can't take me. So he said it very nicely too. So I'm gonna try to find this church, man. Should I go this way or that? I'm gonna try to find this church. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm supposed to go to the beach, but I might make this a church day. Por favor, ¿puede ayudarme con algo? Por favor. Ok, yo quiero saber algo de solo esto. ¿Puede decirme dónde está la iglesia que hablan inglés? Es una iglesia, no, es católica.
Al lado de la católica.
Sí, ellos hablan inglés. Yo quiero, por eso yo estoy aquí, para ver dónde está esa iglesia. Si tú puedes ayudarme, yo puedo tomar un motoconcho.
Ajá.
Ok. Es cerca de aquí, ¿no?
No. Obviamente aquí está el malecón.
¿Son?
¿Tú sabes lo que es el malecón?
Sí, allá, pero yo voy a tomar yo voy a montar un motoconcho.
Ah, entonces tú le dices chol.
La chocha. Ese motoconcho, aquí lo tiene eso. ¿Ah? La iglesia. Gracias. Gracias. All right. Thank you. Gracias. Mira eso. La católica, tú sabes. Sí, la chocha aquí. Okay. Buen día. Gracias. Ok. Ah,
¿Puedes pasar para allá?
¿yo puedo?
Sí, no hay problema.
Ok. Gracias. How you doing? You speak English? You speak English?
No se habla nada que no se habla. Nada.
Oh, okay.
Nada, eso podría decirme en inglés.
Pues,
El papá mío sabe.
pero por eso yo vengo aquí. Yo vengo aquí porque yo escuché la gente, hay días que ellos hablan inglés.
Sí, saben mucho inglés, lo que fundaron esa. El papá mío sabe inglés.
¿Tu papá habla inglés también?
Sí, lo que pasa es, porque mi papá son como ingleses, la familia mía.
Ingleses, sí.
Sí.
So la mayoría de la gente en esa iglesia hablan inglés.
Sí, pero el papá mío sabe inglés, pero el papá mío, mamá dice que papá mío no sabe hablar inglés. Y el papá mío se ponía a hablar inglés con toda la gente que llegaban en la casa, pero nunca le enseñó a ella, ni mucho menos hablaba con nosotros, para nosotros aprenderlo.
Por eso tú no hablas inglés.
No sé nada inglés.
Man.
Y tú sabes que en la escuela de que dan inglés, pero no dan nada.
Sí. Un chin, pero ese no es suficiente.
No aprenden nada.
En la calle, ese nada.
Nada,
Sí.
no saben nada. Entonces, cuando nosotros no íbamos a la escuela, en el tiempo de nosotros, no daban eso nada. Ahora que dan un chin y un no aprenden.
Sí.
En la escuela, cuando yo iba a la escuela antes, lo que daban era lengua española, natural, sociales, matemáticas, pero eso sí que en inglés yo nunca vi eso. Incluso ahora dan cosas, como le dicen, esa vaina brincando, que le dicen, ¿cómo que le dicen?
Sí.
Física, eso no lo daban tampoco.
Sí.
Ahora esa vaina.
Gracias. All right. I feel like I'm a news reporter right now. Obviously, they're having service. As you can see, that's the church. Even when I went inside, the words were in English. They're having service, and I got a tank top. I feel like I'm inappropriate to be coming up there with a camera, and that's very disrespectful, especially in the Lord's place. How you doing? All right, in the Lord's place. But you heard it from the lady, and also I was talking to this guy. He told me also, he said a lot of people, the majority of people that are there speak English. They have English service on Sundays, not today. Today's Thursday. So, but you just heard it from this lady also. She said dad speaks. I don't want to be looking at cakes during church, but so I'm not going to turn the camera. Sorry guys, there's some cakes. But she said her dad speaks English, but her dad spoke Spanish to everybody. So that's why she don't know nothing of Spanish. She only knows nothing of English. She only know English, but her dad speaks. She only knows, but her dad speaks very well. So there it is right here, man. I'm here in history right now. It feels good. I wish it was a Sunday. I could have interviewed some people that have the service in English, but out of respect and everything, they would sing songs in Spanish, but the preacher would preach in English. So there it is. So now that we got that out the way, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and go to the beach. And hold on. Let's start over. Tell me your name. Your name is what?
Richard.
Richard, Mr. No Problem.
My last name is No Problem, and I'm a licensed history tour guide of the peninsula of Samana and part of the country also.
Okay.
So now I will tell you a little bit about the history of this church. It's called St. Peter Evangelic.
Yeah.
This church was brought from England by pieces in the 1824.
Oh,
195, 96 years that church has been there.
That's been here.
And of this church depends on 14 or 15 in the different community of the peninsula. And they celebrate every year what we call harvest, where most of the members donate fruits, provision, and others. And then they make what we call a feria. Sells it all out to collect expensive material to keep the congregation steamed up, warmed up. Wow. And the first minister or pastor and wife are buried in the same yard of that church. And they were from England also. So just come follow me and I'll show you We have the plans going.
Yeah, I got one.
Hey, there you go, huh?
Yeah, I got the video.
So where's home? By the way?
Miami.
Oh, you USA.
Yeah. I live in
So you're on
USA.
vacation?
Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. I came here just because of the history.
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit now. Don't worry. Is so you don't have any relatives here, right?
Right here, no.
No, but in the country probably.
Yeah.
All right. So this is good. I'll tell you a little bit about. See, right now it's a funeral.
It's a what?
A funeral.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
That's okay. And one of the member of the society here passed away, so that's where they bring giving them some ceremony
Oh.
and take them to the graveyard. Understand?
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
It's life, man.
Exactly. So that's she. If you like, you can read it.
Sacred. Oh, it's in.
And that's he
Oh,
over there.
it's in English.
Right. And that's he. They passed away young. She was kind of young.
Sacred to the memory of Harriet, the beloved wife of Reverend Carty Westland, missionary. She was born in Great Britain on the 1st of March 13th. March 13th?
Well, that's what it says there.
My mother born on March 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Sama, and on the 10th of July, 1839, having a husband and 2 young children who lament their loss, to live in Christ, to die again. To die was gain. Nice.
That part of it is here. And this is written also.
Some of it, that's why I couldn't read it good.
Right. And I was
Trust me, I can read.
What happened is they kind of painted, so they just they should leave it kind of live that people
Right,
can
so they can read it.
But inside the church, you're gonna be around a couple of days. Or?
Yeah, I'll be here all day.
Okay, so after the funeral, when they come out, if they got the church open, you can come inside, and there's most history that I would tell you. It's written there on the wall inside, all right?
Okay.
So but while they finish with the ceremony, I will tell you a little bit more about maybe what you would like to hear of the country. Right? So, according to what's the church, there's different tourist attractions. Right. So we have like a waterfall. It's about 150 feet high. Very interesting.
Where's it at?
I'll show you on the map in a little bit. Very interesting, very attractive. You can either ride horses or walk it. We have a national park across the bay. It's called Taitis.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
Wait.
I heard of.
Yeah.
Writings.
We've written natural pictograph.
Right.
Stalagmite, rainforest, Rhode Island. Very different type of mango. I mean, it's very interesting. We have the zip line.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, on the spot. Got about 12 or 13 different stops. 5 minutes away from Beach Valley, where the turtle nest is also.
Wow.
Very interesting. Come. Where are you staying? Some place close around?
Yeah, I'm staying in Bio Whitmore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What you found out? Apartment there?
No, I found an apartment. There's a guy named Mr. Greene who I met in the Capperton last year.
Okay.
He told me about Samaná.
Yeah.
And when he was telling me, a lot of the people, it was a guy that was there, heard him talking. The guy's, that guy's lying. Don't listen to him. But I'm open-minded. So I said, you know what? Let me do my research.
Exactly.
And now look where I'm at. And I know Mr. Greene was not lying to me. Yeah,
sometimes you can't believe everybody. You gotta go like you said.
Yeah.
And see if the person, whether she or he is lying or not.
Yeah.
So now if you meet this person, you say, but according to what I noticed, it was the other way around.
Yeah.
When you told me.
He was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then who knows who was lying?
The guy who told me he was lying was the one that was lying.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Because this is true, Mr. Greene. Mr. Greene's here.
Yeah.
I was like,
And now maybe I know him. He's a tour guy or what?
in the Capitol.
Tell
He's a
him you
tour
met
guide.
Richard. I know who he
Yeah,
is. He's
yeah.
a lawyer too.
Yeah, he always has a book where
Yeah.
he'll show you the history and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that
Good
one.
guy, good guy.
When you talk to him, tell him you met Richard. Some different tourist attraction around here.
Mhm.
Waterfall, National Park, Los Aitices, the zip line,
I went to the Isla yesterday.
to the island, Bacardi Island.
Yeah, I went there
Bacardi.
yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Every year from the Gulf of Maine in Canada comes to the Sub Bank, Navida Bank, in Bay of Samana, humpback whale.
Mm. That's why over here in the Malecon.
Yeah. They come because the condition of the water is at the favor for the reproduction activity. Cali water on top of 26 Celsius.
Yeah.
And the area protection good for the baby calf. Water not too deep.
Right. So why so many people here speak English?
That's a good one. You said how many? Like this town or country is called Santa Barbara of Samana.
Mm-hmm.
And they were founded in the 1756, 20th of August, by the exclusion of the government from Spain, Francisco Rubio, Peña Aranda, and Fernando VI, with a group of people brought from the Canary Island. It's an island in Spain, established in the different community of the peninsula, and the left part of it was Mar language speaking. But today, none of these people is left over. But like in the 1824, from some of the islands, St. Kitts, St. Croix.
That's why you guys have a Caribbean
St.
accent.
Kitts, St. Croix, St. John, St. Thomas. Plus, some of the slaves they brought down from Africa to do the labor work and stuff also, and established in the different community, left part of the culture, language speaking. There's several.
What about the ones I heard from Philadelphia?
Wait.
You're getting there. I'm going too fast. Sorry, man.
Yeah. Therefore, some of these days, we have several different English last names around. William, Wilmer, Shepherd, King, Anderson, Johnson,
Greene,
Benjamin, of these people.
Jackson.
Exactly. Of these people who brought it. Now, there's also some that they are native from Philadelphia, because they got also last English name, like myself.
Right.
My great-grandfather was from Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather was a sailor.
Wow.
So one of them boys, he wound up married. I had my mother and a few more children.
Right.
And I grew up with my grandparents, and they spoke English to me since I was a little kid at home.
Wow.
And I've been in the tourist industry.
This area right here.
So that's what I put in my practice. Now, my really last name is William. Okay, but commercial-wise, it's no
problem.
Because it helped me to introduce myself.
Right.
And I offer what I'm saying.
Nice, man.
Yeah. Let me show you something.
Good to know, man.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah, and we got some more. So
we learned here.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Same as the country. You know, this country was under Haiti pressure for over 22 years.
Right.
When the two islands was united.
Right.
And it used to be called Española.
Yep.
But thank God our father of the country, which is Walter Sanchez and Maya, 127 of February of the 1844, in front of Condado in the colonial section in Santo Domingo, we have a lot of independence from Haiti. Dios, Patria y Libertad, Dominican Republic. Okay? We just divided by a river called Haiti Bonito, which across the border from Haiti. Now, in population, Haiti is bigger than the Dominican Republic, but in territory, the Dominican Republic is bigger than Haiti.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know population-wise Haiti was bigger. Wow.
The Dominican Republic have 48,442 square kilometers. 48,442 square kilometers. 32 different provinces. Santo Domingo is the main capital on the south part, 2.5 hours away through the new highway on the south. Santiago is on the west, it's our second capital. And either San Cristobal or San Francisco is kind of the third largest. 32 different provinces. Close to 11 million people live in the country, this country.
Wow.
Close to 11.
Wow.
But we just divided by a river. by a river called Haiti Bonito, which
Mhm.
across the border.
Right.
It's still the same island.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The only difference is
It's that river.
right in different constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and but they cross the border anyway. It's like when people Dominican some sneak out to Puerto Rico,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
make dollars, try to make better
Yeah,
living,
from the United
Because
States,
United
Puerto
States
Rico,
is
Spain.
right. It's where there's opportunity.
Right, right.
But
So, Mr. No Problem, if anybody wants to contact you or they want to reach out to you to know the history of Samanal, everything, and show people around, be a tour guide, and tell them the history at the same time while you tour them, how can they get in contact with you?
well, so far I'm gonna give you my phone number:
Okay.
09
809
38. No, sorry, 835
835
6991.
6991. So,
Richard, no problem.
Richard, no problem. So, if anybody is in Samana and you need a tour guide that speaks English, perfect English, and can tell you the history of the not just Samana, the country,
Right.
this is the guy to definitely contact. And God brought me to him. I just saw him and I spoke to him, and he knew all this, and it wasn't like we set this up. I'm standing at church and I met this guy like this.
Yeah.
So, and then he has on, and Mr. Green is the person who told me about this.
Come on, computer, don't start that shit. So, hold on, let me invite my bro up here, see what he think about all this so far. I got something else lined up for y'all if y'all ain't busy. Anybody live? Let me make sure nobody's live, so I'm not hogging the morning up because I'm always up early. Make sure none of my people not trying to get something cracking as well. And I'm repeating on all the early morning rising. Okay, great. So yeah, I got something else for y'all. Bro, come up. This said, what's this said? Dividing up the land also divides the mind. Say it. What I say is, I keep telling them. They keep making people argue and fight, this, and that over the land. You got to get the mind right, shit. Ain't nothing going to come together till that's right. Yeah. Yes. You can't make this shit up. But say it, James. Come on, bro. You can't make it up, though. You can't make it up. It's so funny. It's hilarious. Almost, right? So, I got another one for y'all. I think y'all gonna like this one too. It's not that it's such a great video, of course, but it's informative. Let's say that. Some people obviously will be aware of this information, but you guys know we got to make sure we put things or show things in the line so people can like really get it. If not, yeah. So make sure you guys, if you have family that are Jacksons, Jones, Smith, or Greene family, I know quite a few Jackson, Jones, Smiths, and Greens. But if you know any of those particular people, right? You might want to let them know or share this video. Oh, what I didn't do is put the link. Hold on, guys. Let me grab that link for you. How rude of me. How rude of me. I try to share whatever I can. A lot of times people ask me to send certain documents. They won't send a certain way because it depends. I don't even know how I downloaded it. All because, there go. I'm like, bro, not even coming up. What's up,
What's up, twin?
So yeah, I'm putting the link in there if anybody wants to check that out. You guys can go check that out. Here it is, right here. That's a really good video to keep a documentation, especially if you have Jackson, Jones, Smith, and Greene in your family, or if you know any of these people, they may actually have roots there. But yeah, what you want to say about that, bro? I get this other
I'm gonna tell you something, man. See, because they twisted us with this language so bad, most people drop English as being an indigenous language to America. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I be on it because like I broke down the other day when we was on the back, you know what I'm saying? And I broke down this language and the land it's from, which is the East Coast. England originally is the East Coast, the 13 really the 13 tribes was the England Empire, which became the 13 colonies, which was the England Empire territory. Above that was the Britain territory, which was the Brutes at the time. And that's why you got in Canada Britain or British Columbia. So when he had mentioned the church being transferred from Britain or Great Britain to the islands, that's possible going right down the East Coast water shore. But you ain't finna bring no church on a wooden boat from across the ocean. Because it's so bad to the point where the lies don't make any sense. Because we watch on TV today, we seeing big old steel warships trying to go across the Atlantic, and they suffering trying to get across the Atlantic. So, and these is with tons and tons of steel ships fighting these 100-foot waves. So how
Well,
are you going to bring?
I don't think they meant no, bro. Hold on.
Go
I
ahead.
don't think they meant so much brought the physical church there. I think what they mean is they brought the church, like the
The
religion.
congregation.
Yes, the congregation, bro.
Yes,
So they
yes.
came there. Obviously, they probably built everything from scratch because this was like a long time ago. So we got to think like they were more than likely doing that. So I don't think it was the physical church, but it was the what they were doing and how they started bringing everything over as what they do everywhere else, bro. They invade with what? The religion,
Your
indoctrinate the
religion.
mind. They got to get the mind. Once they get the mind, boom, here they go.
See, and the thing about the religion, you know what I'm saying? That's another trick too. Like you're saying,
Yeah,
like once they bring their twist on the religion, which is not the original, you know what I'm saying? They put the indoctrination inside of their religion and then teach it. You know what I'm saying? That's why they give all these new international virgin books away. But then you look into these new international versions and look up Psalms 82. It's not going to tell you that you are God. So that's the twist in like when they bring the religion involved, they preaching and teaching from the New Testament, which is
exactly,
all indoctrination.
exactly.
So I'm agreeing with you 100%, and like even to the point where uh, my man was saying, Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara wasn't over in Spain; it was right there in the Spanish territory in California.
Mm-hmm.
So to this day, well, I got an aunt live over in Santa Barbara. My great uncle, Uncle Go Boy Stewart, he just passed last year, but he was living in Santa Barbara, California, and my Uncle Go Boy Stewart is Daz Dillinger's
And sis,
granddad.
you see, sis said her grandmother's maiden name is Green. See,
Yeah,
damn,
and like
Willie Lilly, same thing, and I do too. I know Mad Smiths, Greens, Jacksons, shit Jones. I think did he say
yep,
Jones? I don't think I put it in,
yeah,
but I
yep.
believe it was
Jones, I got.
Jones.
Remember, I told you before we even went in
Jack,
this build. I said
Jack.
I got Smith and Jones in my family. What? And what's crazy
Exactly.
is look, hold on. I'm finna pull out this family reunion book. I'm finna show y'all. This shit's so fucking funny that is going on right now, and they're mentioning this, but this is going to open up a lot of people's eyes when they see this because this is an old family reunion book, which my cousin and when they did this at the time was not into the truth of what we're digging out. You know what I'm saying? So if you can put that, like, make that on the screen real quick.
Hold on, bro. I was trying
This
to
is
get rid of his
this.
comment. 2 seconds. The computer got to take its time, or it'll fuck up.
Now, this right here is my great great grandparents, Doc Ross and Lily Smith. And see right here, they're celebrating the lives of and Doc Ross and Lily Ross, right? So we go to the first page in this book. Got my notes in here. This is my cousin right here. Her real name is Big Sister. That's her real name, Big Sister. So go right here. Lily Smith was several children born to a Choctaw Indian. Lily Smith, right here, was one of several children born to a Choctaw Indian mistress, they say, right? So, you know, when we look at it, before I got this information, I been knew my daddy was a Choctaw mixed with Blackfeet Indian, right? Been knew this, grew up since I was born. My dad spoke the Choctaw language. He spoke Muskogee language and another language. He spoke native tongues. But to connect that with the records that I had got, because I got that like 4 or 5 years ago from my sister. She just was sitting on that family reunion book. But my dad is a Choctaw. But just to find records of my great grandmother was a Smith, and she was Choctaw. The Smith line is connected deep into the Choctaw Blackfeet people. That's how they try to unspiral the truth. When we spiral the truth down to a dot, they try to unspiral the shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that video was hard. That video was real good.
Yep. So let's finish this little one. It's showing you these banana wars, y'all. This is crazy. So this is obviously right after the time. Remember, what did he say? I don't remember the year, but what did he say? 1857.
Yeah, 1857.
So, okay, so, you know, it took them like, say, 70 years. They built everything up. You know, they got everything going how they wanted. You already know how we do. We get things popping. We like, okay, we're going to make this our home. This place right here, boom, boom, boom. So they did that. So now, this.
This episode of The Great War is sponsored by a special offer. But first, it's March 1921, and Alfredo Zayas y Alfonso is about to become president of Cuba. But there are claims of electoral fraud, and US troops are sent to the island nation. This is just the latest case in long-standing US intervention in the Caribbean. It's the Banana Wars. Hi, I'm Jesse Alexander, and welcome to The Great War. The United States was deeply involved in events in Central America and the Caribbean. To protect its interests and keep other powers out, the US fought in wars, intervened in politics, and even occupied some countries for years at a time. These conflicts have become known as the Banana Wars, and in this episode, we'll take a look at 3 of them, in Cuba, in Haiti, and in the Dominican Republic. And they were all going on exactly 100 years ago. Since the 19th century, Latin America was no stranger to US presence, going all the way back to the Monroe Doctrine of 1823. This doctrine still outlined US priorities 100 years later, keeping European influence out of Central and South America and increasing trade with the independent republics. In 1898, the US put the doctrine into practice in favor of independence against Spain. American forces intervened, and the US won the Spanish-American War in months. This was that American power and willingness to get involved abroad was on the rise. In the years following the war in Cuba, the United States took on an important role in the country's politics and economy. Some politicians thought the country should just annex Cuba, but President William McKinley refused. Instead, he created a provisional government under an American military governor that was supposed to introduce social and economic reforms to modernize the island. Congress amendment, which allowed the US to intervene in Cuba in the future and gave the US Navy use of the territory at Guantanamo Bay. But for Governor Leonard Wood, progress was still too slow. Cubans had enjoyed a 3-hour workday under Spanish rule, and Wood claimed that their experience as a Spanish colony made it difficult for Cubans to adopt what he saw as productive American habits. The great mass of public opinion is perfectly inert. Especially this is true among the professional classes. The passive inactivity of 150 years has settled over them, and it is hard to get them out of old ruts and old grooves, hampered by the practical experience on the part of the really influential men. Much tact has to be used to steer and divert them without offending or causing pain. However, by 1902, the Americans decided that conditions were stable enough for US troops to withdraw and leave Cuba in local hands. But just 4 years later, in 1906, Cuba's two main political parties, the moderates and the liberals, were clashing in pre-election violence. Cuban president and moderate leader was accused of using security forces to ensure his re-election. The liberals, who were no friends of American involvement in the country in general, now called for the US to ensure free elections. President to intervene, and the situation in Cuba degenerated. Liberals began to army, and by September, they had 24,000 men under arms. They controlled the railways and were now threatening the capital. The moderate government only had about 3,000 police. So this time, the moderate party called on the US to come to
Hold on, bro. I
Cuba.
see you back there. I just can't add
Roosevelt
you. Hold on a
still
second.
didn't send
That's just a real quick discrepancy, you know what I'm saying, taking a hold. I guess I'm back on the stage, and sis, she's finna come back up. But yes, that's a deep comment, right there, Pony Locks. You know what I'm saying? Like, our people, what I'm saying, down in the South, a lot of our people do know, what I'm saying, and that's why it's weird that when you hear people in the South calling themselves Black people or African American, it's like you never talked to your grandparents. You never reached out to your great uncles and great aunts and tried to find out who are y'all or whatever. But I see you back, sis.
This
I'm finna
thing
press
retarded.
mute.
You see how they be doing me? I get so
Yeah,
much
man,
hate.
they kicked me out for nothing. I was just chilling. I looked up. I'm all in the back. I'm like, what?
So I tried to add it. It wouldn't let me add it. So I went to switch the screen, so you see that we on the screen. So it let me add, then it kicked me out. I'm like, you know what?
And for
So
some reason, when the Wonder Twins get together, when me and you get on the live, man, they always disrupting our builds, man.
Even if I do a short one, they do it. I swear I can't even get on for 5 minutes without them doing it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we about to get it right back. I paused it, y'all, when it started acting stupid, so y'all shouldn't have missed anything. So let's
Yeah, it
get
might
to
be buffering too, you know what I'm saying? You there, sis?
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm mute. I was muted.
Okay, I'm a mute too.
So in September, scenes with instructions to accept the Cuban president's resignation and again form a new provisional government. Fresh elections were held in 1906 in Cuban history. Liberal
first of all, we don't need y'all punks to form no new type of government for none of us, man. Y'all stupid. But yeah, once again, they are hating on the live feed. I guess I'll talk until sis get back up here, but that's bull and that's nonsense and that's crazy. That's the problem. Them germs go everywhere and they like a maggot. You know what I'm saying? They're buried, they head in first and then just ruin everything after. So when people be looking at these systematic situations, pay attention to what sis is showing. These wars point out a lot of their fuckery. Man, that's crazy. Shout out to Pony Locks, man. I'm finna read your statement since this ain't up here yet to post it. You know, my father said when he was 5 years old, my grandmother called it Indian story time. A lot of it was based on our people fighting them devils down in those swamps. That's true. And I was mentioning that the other day, Pony Locks, where it's a group of people down in the swamps call themselves pig people. Then you got the Cajuns down there, and the Cajuns and the Creole people ain't none the same. The Cajun, they be trying to steal the Creole seasoning tactics, cooking tactics to this day and call it Cajun. So they can basically, what I'm saying, graft themselves in and remove Creole. But you got to look at the word Cajun. The word Cajun is the same as Caucasian. So yeah, those white devils was down there in Louisiana getting fucked up, and a lot of them end up becoming slaves. That's why when they say the slave story in the South, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, man, it was colorful running them crackers.
Can you see me, Zoe?
Yeah, I can see you now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna start speaking if it go blank, man. Just to keep the crowd, what I'm saying, having something vibrant to listen to.
It's some type of delay or some type of something going on with the lag. Maybe that's why I keep cutting off, because of the delay when I'm doing stuff and going between. It's like shutting it down. It's getting on my nerves. But let me let it sit for a minute before I finish. I paused the video again, y'all, so we'll get right back to it in a second. Let's just let it load, do whatever it need to do, get any buffering out the way. Hopefully that has nothing to do with it. It's pretty annoying, but yeah, we're going to see what it do in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl Da Vinci said, finally, I made it live. I know, don't you hate that when you be like, I missed the live. We wanted to catch it when it's live sometime. Welcome. I'm glad you made it too. Grand risings to you.
Yeah. Grand rising, God.
Peace.
But yeah, man, it's a lot of stories. Pony Locks. Pony Locks was mentioning her grandmother used to get them all together and tell them that it's Indian story time, and that's for shit. That's how I actually learned about a lot of the Indian stuff, because my dad would do that. You know what I'm saying, when I was living with him, and it was just me and my brother. His only two sons living with him at the time. And he told me about the 5 sons of the Choctaw people, and and that's where I learned about the mother mound in Mississippi, through my dad information, you know what I'm saying? So, people get a chance to look up the 5 sons, in the Choctaw history, you know what I'm saying? They also look up Nanny Wire, the mother mound, and that'll tell you a lot too. We got tons of story on the mother mound, down to even when Woodrow Wilson and all of them would go down there and visit the place, and our people, not no Native American, our people will go down there and just perform miraculous things, go on top of the mound and take a stick and just leave it on the ground, walk off the mound, and then we'll do our chant, and then the stick will stand up, and they'll start seeing what they would call it, a lucid being holding the stick, you know what I'm saying? So it's deep, man. A lot of our wordplay, even using the Choctaw languages and using our English or any of these, when we form with the same mind state on the same page, we can actually manifest right then and there. I mean, people don't believe it.
Oh, I hear you, bro. I was just texting. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're exactly right, bro.
Yeah. So, never denounce this language you speaking right now, because it's right now actually the most powerful language on the planet besides Latin and Hebrew. The most
And did you hear,
popular.
bro? Did you hear the gentleman? He sounded like a Geechee. You could hear that Spanish in it, but he literally sounded like a Geechee when he was talking.
Oh yeah, the dark brother.
Yeah, the one at the church. Exactly.
Right. But you know what? That's why I had text was we got to separate them people wasn't speaking Spanish in Cuba.
I'm gonna just pull
It,
it up. It's
in
paused.
Latin,
Mhm.
yeah. A lot of people get, because we have not, took our time to realize it. I was learning Spanish in junior high. I go around my Dominican and Puerto Rican people and speak Spanish, and they'll be like, the words don't mean the same, bro. And then they'll break it down. And so, being around real Cubans like you were showing, brown brothers with, woolly hair that actually knew the Latin, they, after they told me later on in life, I researched and found that Latin is the mother language to Spanish, Greek, French, and all of those languages. So I was like, hmm. So when he was over there, when you was playing the video, that was Latin, not Spanish. Spanish is like a slang style of speaking Latin. They trick us with it.
So basically, when they were talking about what did he say? Something he said. I don't remember exactly what he said. But when he was talking to him, I'm sitting there listening. It was like, oh yeah, her dad speaks perfect English, but she doesn't speak any English. I'm sitting there like, now how is it that her dad speak all this English and she didn't learn any English from her dad? That goes to show too. That's what I don't want to get too much into it. But I'm gonna finish playing y'all, but the enforcement of the Latin or their culture to push it on them, to push them away from their real culture because they know these
Right.
people are American. Okay, so now it's the Latin, y'all Latin. The same shit they do to us, same thing they did to the so-called African. They want to make the Africans say, oh, these are Africans, this, that. No, these are not Africans. These are really our Asians, if you want to say it, if they want to call it a name. The Euro Asian
Yeah.
and not in a true Asians, I think it's totally different when it goes back to it. We ain't gonna get into that whole discussion.
Right.
But they push everybody from the land and remove them and try to make something else so they can take over where they think of land is of something they can use, whatever resources they can drain from it, wherever oh yeah, and we're gonna make it look like we made this, we're gonna make it look like we are from here, and we're gonna look like we built this. Everything they do in excavation, not only of the physical properties, but the mental, including the DNA. So there's an excavation of the cell of the guy body, like literally. There's like the impeding on another's entire being on these cultures and making it be whitewashed out, and it's like so wrong. It has nothing to do with prejudice. Shit, it has to do with what's right and what's wrong. These people not even the same on the same physical component or the physical capacity that we are. They are a sulfate body. They are totally different. They have something different inside of them that they are made of. And then we are mixing out and pushing out our true culture and allowing these people to come and continue to mix in, blend in, and then take over and then push you out the way. Y'all don't see it keep going on over and over. Then y'all just see yesterday we showed a video about what was the name of the culture? I don't even remember the shit now. There's so much stuff I be trying to show y'all and stuff I ain't even showed I be thinking about. But it's like the video I showed yesterday, whoever seen this, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's you see how they do what they want to do. It'll be like, oh, we'll build this up. Now we did this. They'll try to pull people in. Oh, act like, oh, you 1%. Now, if you 1% black, you black now. I mean, what? Y'all just do whatever y'all want to do. Like, who the hell give y'all the choice and the option to decide what people are, what they do? Leave shit as it is, leave it organic and natural, so we don't have to play these games. We don't got to go through this mind structure, deconstruction rather, and trying to get this shit and build it back up. I don't like rebuilding shit. I like it to be just like it is and what it is. And that's what is going on with them, just taking everything of ours and deconstructing it and rebuilding it like that shit that, what's that? That little game they got, the Legos. This the shit they got.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. All this stuff. So we have to really be like wiser to the the fullness of that. You had something to say about that? About the video real quick.
I was going to say, what you saying right now just also help the point of the language. Now his grandmama spoke Latin, right? Full Latin. Now, this English language was a language of law, a language of power, and a language of healing, right? So the people that spoke English that was in America in the ancient times, you got to look at it in a whole different manner. See, it'd be a lot of people discredited English to be ancient. English is older than Greek language. You know why? Because why can you look up words in Greek and find it in English, but you can't look up English words and find it in Greek? Right. So that proves the superseding date. Then what he was saying that his grandmother spoke Latin and didn't speak English at all, and you're in your 60s or 50s and you speak English fluent. So first of
No,
all,
no, 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 no,
English,
no, no, no. Bro. That's not what happened. It was the daughter. He spoke pure, perfect English, and his daughter did not speak any English. So how is it
okay.
if you're an American speaking person, how is it that if you're an American speaking person, your child doesn't speak any ethnic English, and this is your culture? How do you switch her now because you over here and these people that came invading? Now you don't let them just take your culture away. You ain't even teaching your baby where you come. Oh, you from? Yeah, we came from America, baby. You know, our family came back here. You know, we came up. You just don't let her go into this culture and believe. Oh yeah, the queen and all this shit that they saying. I mean, it's crazy. You ain't hear?
Yeah. I heard him, and that's why I was just defining the difference between how they try to make English be a language brought to America or new. First of all, English can't be a new language. You're not finna create a language 300 years ago, and 300 years later, it's the most popular language on the planet. It's impossible. It's impossible for you to create a language less than 500 years ago, and it's in every city, town across the planet. So whoever denounce English don't know English and don't know what it means. It's the language of the angels. So when you see these high priests, even in movies, see these high priests going in there to do a seance on these possessed people, they're speaking Latin and English. They're not speaking Spanish and French and none of this extra shit. They're speaking the two most important languages on the planet. Now, another thing, and not to, I agree with you saying, sis, as far as it was his daughter, or I didn't know if it was he was saying his mother that was in Carolinas or his daughter. I didn't catch that part. But my point of those two being separate draws it right back to being the same. Because when these foreigners came to America, they did not know English. So how is it that only America and Britain speaks English fluently, and it was supposed to be brought here by some paleface that don't speak English at all?
Exactly.
So look, remember I had looked it up in the 1828. In 1828, Noah Webster wrote English as being the language of the Americans and the Brits. Okay,
And
so
when
the
people hear the
Brits,
Brit, this is another thing. When they keep hearing the Brit, they be thinking like, "Oh, that's them Caucasians." No, that's not.
yep,
That was,
nope,
they
nope.
were not Caucasians. This is that's another problem. So
They
even
were
when the
North
guy,
American indigenous people. Yes, they were North American indigenous people.
he
The
was
Franks.
real quick, he was confusing the guy, the old guy, because of the indoctrination. This is how bad the indoctrination can make a person's mind not even know or see what's going on. The old guy was explaining to him at the church study, telling him, "Oh yeah, such and such, and yeah, the queen did. They brought the church. They came from great. They came from Britain, and yeah, he kept saying Britain, but then he was saying something with the queen or something. So I'm thinking like, okay, he's thinking Britain is like London because this is why they do. This is the shit they do. This is the mind game. They tell you, oh, London, oh, Great Britain, London, right? So then when you hear Great
Hmm.
London, you're thinking, oh, this came from there. This is this culture. This. No, 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 no. It's not.
Nope,
You're talking
nope.
about the America Great Britain, the same
Yep.
one that I've been showing you guys over and over on these maps. And on the maps, you can see it said specifically American British. It had American Russia. All the shit is America. They keep playing with y'all, keep playing with people's minds. But this is why I
Giving it
keep
away.
putting things up that will
Yeah,
show
they
you
giving our.
the information.
I was saying that they giving all our shit away every chance they can. And that's why they confusing us, because they sending our
Right,
shit
but let me
somewhere else.
finish what I'm saying real quick, bro.
Go ahead.
Just real quick. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
get thrown off way off. the and I did. So go ahead with what you were saying real quick. It'll come back.
I was saying basically, I was collaborating with you pretty much. Like they're taking all of what existed here and sending it somewhere else. So even the land titles that existed here, they have to send them somewhere else, so you won't know that you are the indigenous royal people. The crowns all come from America. That's why they say the locations of the crowns is somewhere else, because the crowns was our shit. So in order for their lie to work, they have to remove everything, replace it, and turn it around. Face off, change costumes, everything. So even the Pan Africans, when they start speaking about everybody came out of Africa, you are stupid as shit to even think that, because why would thousands of people leave Africa and all of a sudden become intelligent on a new land that they don't know what to eat? Yeah. So we got to stop playing the games with them. Like the word English, the itself, the Anglo Saxons, those are our people. People keep denouncing them and trying to fit everything into one little title narrative. You're falsely expressing information doing that. Because America had many nations, and each nation was a group of people. The Olmecs was a nation. That was a group of people. The Mayan was a group of people, and that was a nation. And you look at them, and they all copper colored brown skin, but they don't look identical. You look at the Choquequirao, which is the Cherokee of today, the Choquequirao people from Lake Titicaca down by Peru. Ooh, see, they didn't look like the Mayan. Well, they did look like the Mayan and the Olmec, because they all started mixing, came north, because that's where they was originally created. So whatever existed down in Peru, down in Chile, down all the way to Argentina, it existed in North America before it existed going south. It existed in America before it went through Canada. Because the womb that our flesh was supposed to be created out of, through the ancient stories of our people's stories, that we crawled out of the womb and dried off on the ground, just like the Genesis tried to duplicate. But the Choctaw creation story supersedes the Genesis. And you can look up the landmark to see it exists before the Genesis. You know what I'm saying? That's how many games they flip up on us. But go ahead, sis. Your mic mute.
Growing influence and the outbreak of the Great War in Europe in 1914, Cuba wasn't the only Caribbean island where the US was getting involved. The completion of the Panama Canal and its importance to US interests presented a new strategic problem in the Caribbean. The Americans already controlled Cuba and Puerto Rico, but the island of Hispaniola presented a potential weak point in US defenses of the eastern approaches to the canal. This sensitive point became even more of a problem for the US. Americans accused Haiti of getting too close to German influence. Haiti covered half of Hispaniola and had won its independence. Leaders had been unreceptive to US diplomatic advances and sometimes dealt with German businessmen who'd married into the local Haitian elite. By 1914, US authorities considered Haiti to be aligned with Germany, and they would not tolerate a foreign power's influence in the region, or the lost opportunities for American companies. They also felt that given the population's African origins, not be able to govern themselves. In the view of the Haitian government, they were simply acting as would any sovereign nation. The US began to make plans for an intervention, but eventually long struggled with political instability, and since 1911, 7 assassinated or deposed. From the American point of view, it was this type of chaos that was making it possible for German influence to grow. Inside Haitian society, though, the situation was more complicated. The island was ruled by a privileged French-speaking elite that considered itself a part often broke out in Haiti, usually involved armed groups known as cacos. To some observers, the cacos were revolutionaries for hire, who periodically captured Port-au-Prince for the highest. But to others, including many Haitians, they were the expression of the population's desire to resist unscrupulous leaders, and soon enough, foreign occupation. In July 1915, a new round of political violence came to a head. Just a few months earlier, President Villebrun Guillaume Sam had ordered the execution of 167 opponents of his regime. When the sentence was carried out, the population rose up against him under the leadership of Dr. Rosalvo Bobo. Bobo was an intellectual who had supported popular uprisings against previous Haitian rulers and opposed Sam's closer relations with the United States. During the July uprising against Sam's executions, Sam was dragged from the French embassy where he'd been hiding and was killed by an angry crowd. When news of the assassination got out, U.S. Rear Admiral William Capperton was in command of a nearby U.S. Navy cruiser squadron. Without waiting for orders, he landed 5 companies of Marines and sailors and made for Port-au-Prince. Resistance was light, and U.S. troops were soon in control of the city, even though this was in violation of international law. Capperton said that he acted to protect foreign lives and property and to establish order and Haiti's constitution. President Woodrow Wilson approved the occupation, and in the following months, Capperton appointed Philippe Soudre president of Haiti. He also forced through a treaty that made Haiti into a virtual colony of the United States. The treaty gave the U.S. control of Haitian finances, trade, diplomacy, and even gave the U.S. the right to occupy the country for 10 to 20 years. Some of the French was supportive of Capperton, but most of the poorer Creole-speaking population was not, and wanted Dr. Bobo in power and the Americans out for the future of the country. The Monroe Doctrine, the Yankee imperialist's mask. No doubt nations must strive with courage to still suffer physically more and more. That is to say, in war. In that case, we ought to be patient, calm, and proud, while at the same time enduring suffering, as the hour for our liberation is the doctrine. Relations between U.S. troops and the local population were predictably tense, and were made worse by the racial attitudes of most of the Americans. It didn't take long before the Cacos began a simmering guerrilla war against the occupying forces under Charlemagne Péralte and Benoît Batraville. In fall 1915, the Marines began to patrol more aggressively outside of the capital, and in a single November raid, killed 50 Haitians at Fort. The Marines had stormed the fort with the help of machine guns, while the rebels had been armed with rifles, sticks, and stones. No U.S. soldiers were killed in the attack. These types of Marine patrols continued, and by January 1916, Admiral Capperton reported optimistically about the military and the financial situation. All Haiti quiet. Military control of situation and status quo being maintained. Naval paymasters under Paymaster Conard continue in charge of the customs service and fiscal matters. Practically entire Haitian financial system is now being so administered. And so, with US troops in control of Haiti and a US-friendly president installed, American authorities turned and the other state on the island of Hispaniola. The republic had developed into a decentralized state where many of its people. This made the country more susceptible to foreign influence, including from the United States. From 1900 onwards, the US took control of vital Dominican industries, including plantations and mining. This control intensified under President Wilson, who also sought moral leadership over what he considered, quote, uncivilized people. Like Haiti, the Dominican Republic suffered from internal turmoil. In 1916, American-friendly President Juan Isidro Jimenez was at the head of a provisional government. But his side Santo Domingo were dominated by regional strongmen. In May 1916, General Desiderio Arias led a coup against the president. Jimenez fled the country and reluctantly accepted U.S. intervention. The U.S. threatened to bombard Santo Domingo, so Arias fled to his regional stronghold of Cibao. Further violence seemed inevitable, so Jimenez resigned, as he explained to the US authorities. I cannot keep my word with you. I can never consent to attacking my own people. Despite his protests, in June, the US sent in the Marines anyway. At Puerto Plata, around 500 Dominican fighters resisted an amphibious assault of 130 Marines. Once ashore, Marine machine guns and supporting naval fire quickly defeated the defenders. The town without resistance, they were attacked by local militiamen on the outskirts. According to Marine Commander Captain Frederick Wise, around 150 fighters charged down the hills directly at his machine guns. He concluded they had never seen such weapons before. They dropped all up and down the line, amazement on their faces. Wise's men then advanced along the Yaque del Plata outside Arias's capital of Santiago. When they arrived, Arias had already departed, and most of his forces melted back into the population. The city was taken on July 6th without a fight. Secure. However, in Domingo, the US was unable to find a pro-American presidential candidate. Instead, in November 1916, they took full and direct control of the country and installed a US military government under Captain Henry Knapp. So by 1916, the US had taken control of Haiti and installed a puppet government, and the US military was running the Dominican Republic. But these were not the American interventions in the region. By mid-1917, the left still some areas where it persisted. American businessmen in Cuba were particularly worried about the safety of their sugar plantations. In previous struggles, these plantations had often been burned or abandoned. And so in August, 1,000 Marines, this operation was disguised as a training exercise to avoid trouble with Cubans who opposed American influence in the country. Cuba, which resulted in yet another US intervention. This time, there were claims of electoral fraud concerning the election of moderate candidate Alfredo Zayas. When new elections were held under Marine Guard in March 1921, Zayas wanted US banks to fund his. J.P. Morgan Jr. agreed to the tune of $50 million, but only if Zayas introduced wide and sweeping political and economic reforms, including cutting the government budget in half. Zayas agreed, but anti-American reaction made his position. He embarked on an extensive spending program and fired many of his American-supported ministers and became increasingly resistant to fuss. Meanwhile, Haiti was still an American satellite state. In 1918, the US-backed government forced through a new constitution that allowed foreigners to own property previously been forbidden. Although voters in the constitution, only 5% of the population had actually voted. US authorities in Haiti also had started some infrastructure modernization, rail and road construction. To do this, they revived a French colonial labor system. This gave Haitians the choice of providing unpaid labor or paying a special tax. Since the vast majority couldn't afford the tax, it turned to slavery in the eyes of many. The policy was scrapped in late 1918, but it left lasting resentment. In 1919, CACO leader Charlemagne Péralte launched a renewed revolt against the Haitian government and of Haiti's own struggle for self-liberation. Haitians. For 4 years, the occupation insults us in every brings us to sadness. People whose ravenousness is represented in the person of the President Wilson, traitor, vagabond, rioter, thief. You will die with your country. Péralte rallied about 5,000 fighters and attacked Port-au-Prince. 2 US Marines disguised themselves as CACOs and snuck into his camp and shot him dead. They took a photo of Péralte stripped naked to his supporters. But instead, it drew comparisons to the crucifixion of Christ and turned Péralte into a martyr. Overall, the period of the Banana Wars saw the US Marine Corps and the Navy generally taking on a central role in the infrastructure and the abilities of the Marines, as well as create a controversy. On the ground, few forces could rival the were also unprepared for the nature of the fighting in the tropics. In addition, for a mission-centric organization like the Marines, the lack of clear policy, and George C. Thorpe, a veteran of the Dominican occupation, wrote in it would seem that it would be a fine thing if the troops in the Dominican Republic and Haiti were told exactly what their mission is. Uncertainty is always unsatisfactory. We can face a very black future, even with bright possibilities, is annoying and inherent racism prevalent in the Marine Corps. The US Navy even prioritized sending commanders from the people of African origin. These attitudes meant that the Americans often did not recognize and did not understand the political and social dynamics of differently lumped together based exclusively on race. American attitudes cost the US politically, but they also cost local people's lives. Since a black race in the Dominican Republic, Dominicans were beaten and fined for criticizing the military occupation. Charles Merkel, a Marine officer known as the Tiger of Sabo, gained a particular reputation for torture and for burning villages. He was eventually arrested, but committed suicide rather than stand trial. After the United States entered the Great War in 1917, some Marine officers were transferred to Europe. The ones who weren't often grew frustrated at missing out on the war in Europe, since the Caribbean was considered a second-rate posting. One Marine officer wrote to his commander, "If I do a good job of clearing these provinces of insurgents and kill a lot, it ought to demonstrate I'd be a good German killer." These frustrations were sometimes taken out on the locals and the small but influential German population. By 1920, stories of abuse began to emerge despite the press censorship in the Dominican Republic. To an American public back home who saw themselves as rescuers, the accusations caused a scandal. Historian Johnson summed up the controversy. Marines alone cannot be saddled with the blame for bringing racism with them. They did this by virtue of their American heritage. But they must own the belligerent actions they vindicated through this perceptual lens. Actions that fell enough outside the American norm, racist as it was, that it was rejected by the Marines' own domestic public and brought shame and indignation down on their service. So despite being overshadowed by the larger conflicts of the period, the Banana Wars would leave legacies that shaped the region for decades. In the Dominican Republic, the occupation lasted 8 years, while in Haiti, it continued for nearly 20. Economics undoubtedly played a large role in the Banana Wars, and the US frequently sought financial domination. But even though money was important, it was not necessarily the end goal for American policymakers. Financial control instead served to underpin geopolitical goals and was seen as necessary for future democracy. However, the frequent threat and use of American military might to push through unpopular treaties and constitutions also fundamentally damaged the reputation of democracy in the region. To many, the supposedly democratic governments were merely American puppets, and that was a claim that was difficult to refute. In some cases, the US presence did result in limited modernization, especially in Cuba, but this was usually limited to the capital cities. The US did create central security forces such as the Rural Guard in Cuba, the Gendarmerie in Haiti, and the Guardia Nacional in the Dominican Republic. These forces did help to end the cycle of political coups that plagued the countries, but they also allowed power to be increasingly centralized. And centralized power would cast a long shadow on the history of the Caribbean in the decades to come. If you paid attention during your history lessons, you'll probably know that the relations between Cuba and the US only became more entangled over the decades. Much has been written about the Cuban Revolution in 1959, and one recent book that I can personally recommend on the topic is The Great Game in Cuba: How the CIA Sabotaged Its Own Plot to Unseat Fidel Castro by Joan Mellon. In this book, you get a rare inside look into the CIA's involvement in Cuba. The Secret Service struggled to prevent and then reverse the Cuban Revolution. And where can you best enjoy Mellon's work? Well, you can enjoy it as an audiobook by listening to it, and you can do so for free. If you sign up for a free trial with Audible through audible.com/greatwar, you can listen to The Great Game in Cuba by Joan Mellon for free. And that's not the only great history audiobook that you can find on Audible, the world's leading spoken word platform. They have thousands of titles, not just audiobooks, but also podcasts and much more. Audiobooks are a great and easy way to enjoy your nonfiction books on the go. When I'm taking a walk through Vienna, or I just want to lay down instead of sitting at my desk the whole day, I hit the play button on my Audible app and dive into the latest history. So visit audible.com/greatwar or text Great War to 500-500 to sign up for a free 30-day trial. When you sign up, you'll get 1 credit that you can spend on any audiobook of your choice. We'd like to thank Mark Newton for his help with this episode. As usual, you can find all our sources for the episode in the video description. And if you want to support our channel, you can support us on Patreon, and the link for that is in the video description as well. I'm Jesse Alexander, and this is The Great War 1921, a production of Real Time History, and the only YouTube history channel advocating for 3-hour workdays.
Okay, I got a mouthful of muffin right now. Like literally, I was like biting into a piece of muffin and then it ended. I'm being so bad this morning, guys. I usually don't eat early in the morning. These past 2 weeks, I have been like horrible. So I'll be correcting that soon. But for right now, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I'm about to end it, y'all. AP just went live. Let's get over there and see what's going on. Hopefully we can get something good going on this morning and some good information and so on and so forth. I have an easy morning this morning, so I will be back at 1 o'clock. Me and Sister Copper will be doing a very good presentation. I think Dee Dee's going to be joining us as well, so hopefully we'll have a live build that is going to be informational and so on. So I'll see you guys then, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time.